Hey y'all, earlier today I posted something about the Urban Acolyte Academy. I feel like a lot of people don't know what that is. I'm going to make it real simple for you guys. It's basically like an online dojo. Dojo meaning a place of learning the Tao, right? The Tao meaning the Force, a place of learning the Force. So everything I've been talking about on here, kettlebells, Kung Fu and Zen, the martial arts training, I have programs. There's going to be more content that's created specifically for the Academy, right? Hey, man, this is an option. Right now, it's going to be 70% off. I'm going to run, I said it's going to be for 2 days only. I'm going to give time for the people who are traveling to Star Wars Celebration weekend, like the homie Chris Ryan's. So for the next 14 days, I'm running this special 70% off. Hey, man, y'all don't want to miss out on it because, yo, you don't want to miss out on this. That's all I'm going to say. This could be some life-changing information that's coming to the guys who make the jump and join the Academy. What's up, y'all? My name is Prince, and I'm an Urban Acolyte. And in this video, hey, man, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't bet on Episode 9 retconning anything from The Last Jedi. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because there's been a number of articles that popped up around some statements that Rian Johnson made. The title of this one that I'm looking at is Rian Johnson is okay with the possibility of Star Wars Episode 9 retconning The Last Jedi. Now, there were a number of things that I guess were controversial about The Last Jedi in some people's opinions. It rubbed people the wrong way, the way they handled Luke Skywalker, the way they handled Rey's parentage, making her parents no one. I mean, even Simon, whatever his name is, that played Unkar Plutt and is a big Star Wars fan and assisted JJ Abrams with the creation process going into The Force Awakens, at least as he says, that at one point in time, there was thoughts of making Rey's parents someone who, people who were important, who might have had ties to someone important from the prequel era or the original saga. We still don't know who that is. Some people are clinging to the possibility that Rey was going to be a Skywalker at some point in time. There were a lot of things, a lot of ideas that had been kicked around regarding Kira, her original name. At one point, I'm thinking based on the concept artwork that Kira was going to originally have had training as a Jedi. At least there were ideas of giving her a lightsaber from the very beginning, and maybe she knew a little bit more about the Force, but she was still going to be someone stranded on a junk planet, right? But here's the thing. This is why I don't feel like you should bet on Episode 9 retconning anything from The Last Jedi. And that is because when Rian Johnson talked about meeting with JJ about the big reveal about Rey's parentage, what Rian Johnson said is he was like, well, this is what I'm doing, Rey's parents. And JJ was like, yeah, you got it. Exactly. That they were no one, just like JJ made the slip and said, oh, Rey's parents weren't in The Force Awakens, and people say, oh, well, and then he walked the statement back because it's like, well, I don't want to give anything away because Ryan is handling the next story, and at the time, we don't know what Colin is going to do with the final chapter, but now he's out and JJ is wrapping things up. But, I mean, if Rian Johnson said, look, man, I talked to JJ, when he said we will find out who Rey's parents are, right? And then he said, oh, and I met with JJ. I said, well, this is what I think they are. This is what I'm going to do. And JJ was like, yeah, you got it. Rey's parents were junk traders on Jakku, right? Rey was probably born on Jakku, right? I felt like that for a long time. Rey is not a Skywalker. She's not the long lost daughter, the missing daughter that was kidnapped or something and stranded on Jakku of Han and Leia's, right? Because I said, I've been saying this, right? When I shot down the Rey is Han's daughter theory or something that somebody on Reddit asked me to cover, and I guess they thought I was gonna, I got you, man. No, I don't got you, because look, I said, look, Han looked at Rey just like this racer girl who was in Bloodline, and then later you get the short story of how Han met her. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, right? And then you learn that Han had been taking these young pilots under his wing, under his wing, and Ben kind of resented that, right? Because he wanted to be like his dad. He wanted to be like Daddy and Uncle Wendo, right? And in the what is the new book that came out last spring about Han and Lando when Ben is a little toddler running around, right? Uncle Wendo, right? He wanted to be a pilot and a racer and a smuggler like his father, but that wasn't in the cards for him. He was gifted with the Force, and I believe he was very temperamental. I think, he had a strong affinity to the dark side, and Leia was like, look, man, we can't have him running around tearing stuff up, having these tantrums, and literally when he has a tantrum, he literally unleashes the Force, right? Because you don't need training as a Jedi to use the Force. The Jedi have a certain way that they study the Force and teach people to control it, right? That's what the Jedi training is. It's not, oh, how can they do that? You have to have been trained for years as a Jedi. No, little children can levitate objects that have the Force. That's in canon, right? That's in the Ahsoka Tano novels. A little girl who was, levitating her toys and stuff, right? And she didn't have any training as a Jedi. It's just something you do. It's an extension of yourself, right? It's learning how to control that the Jedi teach. The Jedi are a religious order, right? They're teaching their religion, their philosophy. That's what training to be a Jedi is. People who have forgotten how to do all that stuff because Luke had forgotten or had it suppressed, we're probably retconning stuff now. It's like, well, but Luke still, he was always a gifted pilot. Yeah, that was part genetics, but it's also an extension, right? The Force, right? Just like little Anakin, pod racing, right? So anyway, so I kind of got off on a tangent about Rey and using the Force and whatnot, but I really wouldn't bet on Episode 9 retconning anything from The Last Jedi. If anything, what'll happen is Episode 9 will start out the way The Last Jedi did. The Last Jedi in the opening sequences answered questions about things, answered questions that people had, at least people had from the initial screenings after they saw The Force Awakens, right? Because people have short-term memories, but you go back to January 2016, Rian Johnson, early January, Rian Johnson is rewriting the script. Oh man, Episode 8 is doomed. Rian Johnson's rewriting the script. No, he looked at the initial reactions that people had after seeing The Force Awakens, and he was like, oh, I got to deal with this because I thought it was obvious, but maybe it wasn't. Let me rewrite some of these things. Let me Poe Dameron was supposed to die originally in The Force Awakens, and now, oh, well, I got to give something to Poe. I got to develop Poe's character more. There's these questions about Finn that, he kind of dropped the ball on. In the final cut, Finn was supposed to have a bigger role. The whole Canto Bight thing was supposed to be more detailed. It was supposed to be a bigger adventure, but it all ended up all on the chopping floor, right? Finn was gonna, get his James Bond on, and none of that happened, right? Finding that master coder or code breaker, right? That didn't happen. So JJ's got to go back and, Finn's hero's journey that he's on, people who refuse to pick up a book and read I just dropped all my other books that people aren't going to read. People who refuse to read Joseph Campbell's The Hero with 1,000 Faces, or at least watch a documentary on Campbell. Well, damn it, everything is dropping shit. you know, they don't really want to accept that, hey, man, this new era, the Disneyfication of Star Wars, is really expanding on all these characters, right? Where the original saga was about Luke, right? Leia and Han and everyone else, they were kind of side characters. Now you have a side character, but someone could pick up that side character and give them a whole story and flesh them out, right? Finn is on a hero's journey. Rose shows signs of hero's journey. Matter of fact, Rose had all these other books that people didn't want to read, and one of them that I don't have, that I didn't buy because I didn't think I wanted to look at it, actually lays the groundwork for Star Wars Resistance, right? Actually, it's not Rose, it's Paige Tycho's book or something. It's a book that it's like kind of like Rey's survival guide, but Rose's sister Paige. It's about her thing, and she talks about the First Order paying pirates and paying these militias to destabilize places, planets, and then those planets hire the First Order for protection. And it's exactly what we saw in season 1 of Star Wars Resistance, right? So a good find for I can't remember who on Twitter found that, but shout out to them for finding that, right? But I'm just saying, right, the story is bigger than just the movies. It's Star Wars, right? And people, well, you shouldn't have to use ancillary material to explain a movie. Well, the movie can stand alone on its own, but it's like you have events that are tied to something that happened somewhere else, and it's like, well, why is this happening? Well, because this other thing happened. And hey, is it bad? Right? I don't know. I feel like that's somebody's defense. That's their excuse because they didn't want to read that other thing. They didn't want to go read that other comic book. And I look at it like this, right? You go see a comic book movie. I went and saw Shazam. There were plenty of Easter eggs in Shazam that I didn't get because I'm not going to read Shazam and I'm not going to buy a bunch of DC comic books. And I go and accept in that and I say, can I understand this story just the way it is? Yes, I can. Can I walk out entertained? Yes, I can. I didn't pick up on every reference. I might have to, and it might spark me to go hop on Wikipedia or some DC site or something, or go ask a comic book person who knows all of this stuff, right? To get more information because I want to know the story. And that's really the way I kind of look at Star Wars now. If I don't want to read every book, there's someone out there who will, right? There's Wikipedia. I can go on there. I can do my own research. I can get a visual dictionary, right? I can do these things to learn more of the details and understand that, hey, man, the movie tells this story from a certain point of view, right? But if I want to get the other points of views, then I need to go to these other places to get this story. And Episode 9 is going to tell this story from a certain point of view, and maybe it'll answer questions. It'll make people feel easier about things that happened in The Last Jedi. It'll flesh out things that storylines and whatnot that people don't feel good about. But I don't feel like it's going to retcon anything from The Last Jedi. If anything, it's going to make The Last Jedi make even more sense. The same way the Return of the Jedi made Empire Strikes Back make even more sense because it was just as controversial as The Last Jedi, right? I posted an article that somebody wrote back in 1982 or whatever about Empire Strikes Back, and they tore the movie down, right? And then we look at that same article some almost 40 years later, and we're like, this guy's an idiot. Empire Strikes Back was the greatest movie of these 8 that we have so far in many people's opinions, right? So, 10 years from now, some people might look at The Last Jedi as a masterpiece. This is what set us up to move beyond the Skywalker Saga and tell more stories set in the Star Wars universe, or maybe Star Wars just burns and that's the end, and Marvel is the big thing, or maybe The Matrix comes back. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So I don't know. Some people are really hoping that the Episode 9 is going to retcon things that they didn't like about Episode 8. I'm telling you, don't put any money, don't place your bets on that happening. Don't go into episode 9 with any preconceived notions or opinions. Even this stuff I'm saying about the Knights of Ren being Sith. Just go in with an open mind. All these ideas and theories and speculations, it's all for fun. But don't be too attached to any of it, because even things that I say, I'm not all that attached to it. I haven't seen a trailer yet. We could see the trailer later this week, and I might say, man, all the stuff that I was thinking about going into before now, drop all of that. It was all completely wrong, and we're turning over a new page and beginning, you know, coming up with new hypotheses, right? That's how I feel. So that's really all I got to say about this one. Hey, if y'all like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and you know, that's really all I got to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be checking back to see what you have to say. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead, click that subscribe button, and I want to say take your first steps towards becoming an Urban Acolyte, but if you really want to take those steps, you need to join the Urban Acolyte Academy. You know, when you do that, you can truly embark on the journey of becoming the hero of your own story and becoming a force for change in your community. So anyway, make sure you support the channel. You can check out more videos that I posted on Star Wars Episode 9 or whatever video the YouTube has selected specifically for you. But that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Y'all keep on breathing. May the force of others be with you always.